Much like in nutrition, I said the best diet's the one you'll follow. The best exercise is the one you'll do. The same thing applies here. And it has to be something that you enjoy, that fits with your lifestyle. We're talking about, again, the average individual for whom the priority is work and family and a host of other obligations, and that the training is really an extracurricular activity. It's a hobby for most people. I think that it's very important to exercise. I did a video called Rhino's Rant, called Stress for Success, where I spoke about a moment in my past where a brief time where I didn't exercise. I had stopped competing in 1997, and I started a business, and I was burning the candle at both ends, as many of us have done to build our companies over the years. And I was not sleeping very much. I was not a member at a gym. I wasn't exercising. And I was eating pretty crappy fast food all the time, just as a matter of convenience and cost to focus on my business. And I went to the library. I felt so terrible. I was just miserable. I was suffering from insomnia and stress and a whole host of other problems. I went to the library to try and look for some stress coping mechanisms, right? And I wanted to read a book on how to manage stress. And I picked up a book by Jim Lohr called Stress for Success. And I opened the book and started reading through it. And you know what it primarily was about? It was about optimizing your sleep, eating a healthy diet, and exercising. There was very little in there about, like breathing techniques and meditation. And I was looking for some hack. And in fact, there is no hack. It's the basics that we're discussing now. So exercise definitely has to become a part of a successful and healthy lifestyle to benefit, your business and your marriage and all that as well, and your kids. So how much time do you have? That's what you got to find out. You got to actually set aside an amount of time that you can commit consistently to your physical health. That's why I like the 10-minute walks, because they're sustainable. You can do them anytime, anywhere. Little exercise snacks. Eat a meal, take a walk. Eat a meal, take a walk. It's just 10 minutes. You do 3 of those a day, and you're getting 210 minutes a week, which well exceeds the American Heart Association's recommendation of 150 minutes a week. And it could be a brisk walk, or you can get on a recumbent bike if the weather is bad, like Hafthor does in his garage in Iceland when the snow is bad. But just moving your body, and we see now that moving more frequently, 3 10-minute walks a day, or 10-minute bouts of modest exercise, is better than one 30-minute bout of exercise at the end of the day. It seems that it doesn't undo all the sedentary behavior from sitting. And so I would encourage the exercise snacks more so than that one bout of cardio at the end of the day. Now we're on to weight training for lean mass retention. The muscle is an endocrine organ, and it helps release a lot of anti-inflammatory processes throughout the body. Obviously, it helps with not just longevity, but lifespan, but health span. We're seeing everybody talk about this now. Dr. Peter Attia and many, many others are focused on strength and lean mass retention, especially into your later years. Sarcopenia as you age. I talked about anabolic resistance from your body's inability to absorb as much protein as you age. And even protein consumption isn't nearly as effective as the stimulus for muscle protein synthesis of lifting weights. We see that even in people with lower protein diets, so long as they're lifting weights, they can maintain their lean mass. So lifting is essential. Now I have to bridge the gap between people who don't necessarily like to lift or go to the gym, and try and find some way to load your body, whether it's push-ups or dips on 2 chairs or air squats, are sufficient. You can progress them to a point until you run out of resistance with your body weight, or whatever bands you can utilize at home. But I actually enjoy the gym, which again I'm careful to state that that's not everybody's preference. So when I get a client that comes into the gym, my first goal is, can I make this fun? Can I make this something they look forward to? I teach a kids' power hour at Sin City Iron in Las Vegas every Sunday, and I tell my own kids when I take them to the gym, what's the most important thing, today when we go to the gym? And they already know the answer. It's to have fun. I'm not in there trying to crush them, or, I want to teach them some things, and most certainly, but I want them to come back next week. I want them to want to come back. And so if your trainer is in there with blowing their whistle and having you do battle ropes and burpees, and you're sweating hard and breathing hard and you feel like you got a good workout, but it's onerous and not enjoyable, the likelihood you're going to do that consistently long term is pretty poor. And as mentioned earlier, in terms of compensation, I don't think it's the best recommendation to do a hard battle ropes and burpees kind of workout, because you'll go home and sit more and eat more, and you'll be tired. Some people may enjoy that, and that's, I let them lead the way on that. So I take them around the gym and I try and find exercises that they enjoy that provide some resistance. It might not be a squat and a deadlift. It might be a leg extension and a standing leg curl. I try and find things that they'll actually enjoy doing. And I ask them, how do you like that? How does it feel? And then one of the most important things I do is I try almost right out of the gate, within the first 2 workouts, let them see a strength improvement. Whether it's a trap bar deadlift, because most people can accommodate that, and it does, unlike a regular deadlift, there's some barrier in terms of coordination or what have you. Trap bar deadlifts are a great example. It's axial loading, so it's great for the spine and for bone mineral density, for, like you said, for older individuals. And if they can't reach down to the high handles on a trap bar, then we can just set one on a support racks on a squat rack and just have them do even a partial deadlift. Here's the great thing about that exercise is, whatever you do the first day, when you come back 3 or 4 days later and do it again, you'll be stronger. You'll be able to lift 1 more rep or 5 more pounds. That's the addiction. That's the hook for your clients, is if you can show them progress. They're not going to see muscle gain in the mirror for months. But if you can show them a strength gain in just 1 week, that's, I think, is the hook. That's why a lot of CrossFit women have crossed over into powerlifting competitions, because it's so measurable and progressible. And you and I both know it's a neural adaptation, at least initially. They're just more coordinated from having practiced the movements, and they learn to recruit the muscles. And we both know that, at least for the first 4 to 6 weeks. It's not necessarily a strength gain. They just more coordinated. But I'll play on that. I'll use that to my advantage to advance their trap bar deadlift by 50 pounds in 4 weeks. And they'll tell all their family and friends about how strong they're getting, and actually be motivated to continue on that program. And I use that same theory with every exercise. I measure it and I progress it over time, and I record it and write it down so they can see. How do you measure battle ropes and burpees? How do you measure sweating and breathing hard? You can go get a VO2 max test or, what have you, but along with not being necessarily enjoyable and sustainable, it's not very measurable. And so the individual has a hard time quantifying that and being motivated by it. So that would be my first and foremost. Find something you enjoy, set a schedule, and there's no best schedule. It's when you're most likely to go to the gym. People always want to know what's the best split. And I'm like, well, the one you'll attend, whether it's training every other day or whether it's a full body workout or upper one day, lower the next, it doesn't matter. And there's no scientific evidence to suggest that one is better than the other. Attendance is what's most important, consistency over intensity, at least initially, and to get yourself kind of immersed into that environment. Hopefully you got a friend or a spouse or a family member that wants to come to the gym with you, or you get a personal trainer, so you have somebody to hold you accountable that you have to meet there. Those kinds of things help you comply. And once I get them in to train regularly, now I can start focusing more on the progression, the intensity, how close to failure are you going on a particular set, and that would start to lend itself better to long-term results in terms of hypertrophy.